Hello, I'm Mark Reisenauer, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about establishing an innovation challenge and sharing my experience and how doing so can help change and lead to better comprehensive care. So by way of introduction of both myself and my company, I'm Mark Reisenauer. I'm Senior Vice President of the Oncology Business Unit at Astellas. My path in pharma is probably very similar to many of yours. I started off as a sales representative at what is now AstraZeneca, and then I moved into various market research and marketing roles at companies such as Bristol Myers Squibb, Pharmacia, Abbott, Micromet, and now Astellas. So Astellas US is headquartered in Northbrook, Illinois, and we're an affiliate of Astellas Pharma, which is headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. Now, Astellas Oncology is really focused on improving the standard of care in hard to treat cancers. And we do that by focusing on developing targeted therapies. Now, as a franchise, we came together about 9 years ago, and early on, we thought it was important to create a mission and a vision statement. And I've got them here that I wanted to share with you. Our mission, which is why we come to work every day, is that we're committed to making every day better for people impacted by cancer. And our vision and what we're trying to aspire to be is to be highly valued for providing effective solutions that enable people to focus on living. And these two things are very important, and you'll see why as I get deeper into my presentation. Now, certainly throughout my career, I always considered myself to be very patient-centric. I was taught that early on by some of my early leaders. And certainly I thought I was very patient-centric here at Astellas. But it really wasn't until I went through an experience firsthand as a caregiver for my father that I really understood the trials and tribulations that patients and their caregivers go through when they're receiving their cancer therapy and their treatment. Unfortunately, like many of you, I was touched by cancer. My father was diagnosed with head and neck cancer a number of years ago. And as one of his caregivers, I quickly learned how difficult that journey was. I thought going in that I had a good handle on the types of challenges we would face and how to solve them. And I was quickly proven wrong. I think what I learned most about the experience is that there is nobody who's really looking out for you, who's coordinating your care, who is coordinating various aspects of your journey. That person or people are the caregiver and the patient. And unfortunately, they don't have the tools and the resources they need to do that effectively. So this was a key understanding and insight that I had gained through being a caregiver for my father. Now, this understanding, as well as trying to find ways to live out our mission and vision, led to the creation of the Astellas Oncology C3 Prize. Now, C3 stands for Changing Cancer Care. This is an innovation contest where we're looking to fund ideas that address the complexity of the cancer care journey. And we're looking for ideas that don't involve medicine. It's everything but medicine. Now, this is an innovation contest that's open worldwide. We launched the C3 Prize back in 2016 with a group of Astellas employees. The innovation contest, the C3 Prize, provides grant money as well as other resources to help the winners. We've received hundreds of ideas over the past 4 to 5 years. And I think one of the key parts of the program that I think really has helped us in getting a broad range of ideas is that we take no ownership in these ideas. We thought it was really important to make sure that there were no strings attached because we wanted to really see all ideas and we didn't want to inhibit people from bringing their idea forward. And I think importantly, and you'll see this throughout my presentation, for us, the Astellas Oncology C3 Prize really aligns tightly with our mission and our vision. Now, an innovation challenge isn't for every organization. And I would submit that there are 4 criteria that you should consider before embarking on an innovation challenge. And these are 4 criteria that we certainly evaluated. And once we passed these criteria, we felt it was a good idea to move forward. And I think that's proven to be true. So let me go through each of these. So the first criteria is, does the challenge align with your organization's values and goals? And the reason this is important, there's a couple. One, you want to be able to engage your broader employee base in this challenge. And 2, you want to make sure that your leadership is supportive and that they continue to fund the program year after year. And certainly with the Astellas Oncology C3 prize, both of those dynamics have played out for us. And in fact, when it comes to engaging our employee base, we've even utilized our sales force to help drive awareness of the program with their customers. Now, a second criteria that you should consider is there a core unmet need that really needs to be addressed? And for us, with the C3 prize, that unmet need was the difficulty of the cancer care journey. And I think what really stood out to us as we were looking at that unmet need, there was really nobody trying to address it. And it is complex, it's multifactorial, but nobody was seeming to really try to address it in any comprehensive way. A third criteria is, would the challenge help to better connect you with the broader community where the problem exists? And for us, we have found that the C3 prize certainly has brought us much closer to the cancer care community because of the fact that we've engaged all the stakeholders in the cancer care community as part of the program. And then lastly, does the Innovation Challenge provide different perspectives that you think are important in helping to address that challenge? So as we looked at the cancer care journey and how complex that was, we believed it was important to get perspectives from patients, caregivers, physicians, nurses, entrepreneurs, and others. And what we found over time is we received applications from all of those different types of people and then some, and they brought different perspectives, different levels of expertise, but the one thing they had in common, they were all touched by cancer and they were all passionate about trying to improve cancer care. And I think that led to a better outcome of the program. Now, if you go through the criteria and you believe that it makes sense for you to move forward with an innovation challenge, there are 4 steps I would certainly recommend in developing that program. And I'll go through each of those briefly here. The first is to identify the core insight and the goal of the program. And if you need to, you can do primary market research to validate your hypotheses there. And I think a key question that you should ask yourself is, what unique value would you be bringing to the challenge, to the situation, by doing an innovation contest? And for us, with the C3 prize, the core need, the core insight was something that not only did many of us experience firsthand as either patients or caregivers, but it was certainly validated when we talked to other people. And it was important, certainly, to get a variety of perspectives in helping to address this issue. So that would be the first step. The second step would be to involve stakeholders, both internally and externally, in both the development and execution of the program. Here it's really to make sure that you're listening to all the voices associated with this specific issue that you're trying to solve for, and trying to be comprehensive. For us, we have essentially involved a lot of different stakeholders over time, patients, caregivers, past winners, and others, to make sure that we have all the voices heard. In particular, one example I would specifically share is we've involved prior winners very much in future contests. And one of those would be Hernani Olivetti, who is our 2017 winner from Portugal. Hernani is a cancer survivor. And after he won, he certainly wanted to become more involved in the program. And subsequently, he's become a judge for us, as well as provide us other input to make the program even better. So very important to have a broad set of stakeholders that you're drawing upon. The third step is to make sure that you're continuously evolving your challenge to address the changes that are happening in the world around us. And certainly as we're going through the COVID-19 pandemic right now, great example how things can change on a dime, and you need to make sure that you're reflecting those changes to make sure your challenge is both relevant and impactful. And wanted to give you a couple of examples here. What we've done with the Astellas Oncology C3 Prize this year is we have tailored the goal of the program and have been very explicit about asking for ideas that help to address the cancer care journey that's impacted specifically by COVID-19. And we know that has certainly been the case, and we're looking forward to those ideas to help address it. The other thing that we've done differently this year is we've tried to incorporate a diversity and inclusion perspective into the contest. And really what we're trying to do is make sure it's inclusive and that it's fair. And what we've done is we've worked with the Astellas Diversity and Inclusion Department. And one of the things specifically we've done is, as the review committee looks at applications, we've blinded some of the information on those applications to ensure that we're eliminating bias. So very important that you continue to evolve your program. And then lastly, you need to identify what the winners need the most to advance their ideas towards reality. Now, funding is obvious, always important to have funding, but we've found both early on and every year we find out more, there's a lot of other assistance the winners are going to need to make sure their ideas become a reality. There's a couple of examples I'll share with you here what we've done. So from the very beginning, we've had a partnership with Matter, and Matter is a healthcare incubator that's based here in Chicago. And we provide a subscription to Matter for all of the winners. And that subscription provides them not only connections to other startups, but there's a lot of other resources and training that Matter provides that helps these businesses to evolve. Another thing that we've done is that we've provided presentation skills training to all of the finalists. So we typically have a live pitch event where the finalists present their ideas and where the winners are selected. We've provided training so that the finalists can better articulate and better tell the story around their idea and why it's a good one and why it's going to solve a problem and be impactful. And we use, it's very much in the TED Talk sort of style. Well, this skill is typically one that they don't have. It not only helps during the program itself, but certainly this is a skill they're going to need as they advance their idea when they're looking for funding, when they're trying to out-license it, et cetera. And then lastly, another idea or another thing that we're doing to help support the winners is we provide significant media and social media coverage of their accomplishment. And we do this for the whole year after they've won. And what this does is a number of things. It builds more awareness for their project, for their business. Two, it actually helps to connect them to others who can help them. And then three, it really provides credibility for their idea and the potential that it has. So that is the fourth and very important step in developing your innovation challenge. And in summary, we've had now 16 winners since 2016 of the C3 Prize. And we've given out $500,000 in funding as well as additional support. I think what I'm most proud of is the impact that all these winners have made and are making on cancer care. I couldn't be more proud, and I can tell you, we would have never come up with the type of ideas that they came up with. So it really helped to fulfill what we thought it would. One thing I will share with you, just one of the winners to give you a sense of the ideas that we get and the impact that it makes. Just very quickly, I'll share our last year's winner, Audrey Guth from the Nanny Angel Network. Audrey is a cancer survivor and a mother of 4. When she was going through her treatment, she saw that there were a lot of mothers who had to make a a choice, a conscious decision of either raising or caring for their kids or going to their cancer treatment. And she thought there shouldn't have to be a choice. So she came up with the idea of developing a nanny angel network or support service to provide that childcare. But it was more than just childcare. These nannies were also trained in grief counseling and other tools and resources to help the children given the situation they were going through. So she's our winner from last year. So in conclusion, I think innovation challenges, if they make sense, can be extremely impactful in helping to change comprehensive care for any serious illness. So thank you.
Thanks for a great talk, Mark, and sharing your journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
So what challenges have you faced?
Yeah, I think one of the key challenges that we faced was making it a movement and not a moment. And what I mean by that is, what was important is driving awareness of the fact that we actually had an innovation challenge ongoing. And if you waited to just do this once a year, you were always trying to rebuild that awareness. So I think for us over time, that challenge of building awareness, we've now converted to making it a year-long movement as opposed to just a moment.
And what advice would you give to someone who's looking to develop an innovation challenge?
Yeah, I think the specific advice I would have, well, one, it's going to be a lot of work. They're very challenging and difficult. But I think probably the most important advice I would give is make sure it aligns to your organization's values and goals and mission and vision, because that is probably the most foundational element of this being successful.
Great. How is the C3 prize addressing COVID-19? And did you consider changing the focus of this year's prize?
Yeah, we changed the focus of this year's prize specifically to address COVID-19. What we saw early on in the pandemic is that cancer care, like a lot of other diseases, were adversely impacted. We had patients who were skipping visits. We saw that there was difficulty getting to the clinic for treatment for a variety of reasons. So we really wanted to hone in and address this very specific need, given that not only is it relevant, but if we wanted the challenge, the C3 prize, to have impact, we need to address something that's very topical.
Tell me about some of the past winners.
So many great stories of past winners, but I think the one that I'll share is one of our winners from last year. Her name's Abby Westerman. And Abby has a company or group called the Be Present Foundation. And she was the mother to a daughter who had passed away from a childhood cancer. And while her daughter was alive, she had been working on an app and a web-based application that would help connect her daughter to her friends and others in a way that was useful and relevant, for kids of that age. And it clearly was a need that was important. And what was interesting about her concept is it was a great idea, but she really hadn't formed it very much further. It was more, I would say it's primarily at the idea stage in a little bit of additional thinking. We had created actually a separate category for what I would call kind of early formed ideas, because we wanted to nurture those and build those. And, given that we had, ideas that were in prototype or even on the market already as applications, we want to make sure we addressed kind of emerging ideas, which this was. And so great story. And I know she has gone quite far now in developing this app and this web-based way which will connect kids to their friends in terms of both interactions and also letting people know when they needed additional support. So that would be one. Great.
Where can people learn more about this year's C3 prize, and when will the winners be selected?
Yeah, you can learn more about the Astellas Oncology C3 prize by going to C3 prize, the letter C, the number 3 prize.com. And in December, we're going to announce our list of finalists. And then in March, we will be actually announcing the grand prize winner, who will receive $100,000 in funding. And then we'll announce 2 innovation awards, which will be $50,000 each.
Well, thanks again for taking the time and speaking with us today.
Enjoyed it. Thank you again.